Good morning, good morning, good morning. Merry, sort of stupid o'clock. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. And yes, folks, since I'm a glutton for punishment, I have signed out for more OT. This is what we broke people have to do who actually want to go to the Virginia trial, in case anyone's wondering. So, before we get going this morning, just a few of the usual disclaimers, alright? First of all, you are going to see the documents in regards to the investigation into the death of Linda Cornelison that wrapped up in 1995, right there in the description box, alongside the other pertinent links of the Stop the Shocks campaign, including the massive archive put together by the hard work of Linda Brown, also known as Autistic Hoya. You're also going to see the templates. Folks, sign your name, click on your senator. We are trying to end aversive punishments, seclusion, and improper restraints in schools. It kills folks every year, alright? We also have the ever present, self explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. All right, folks, when we talk about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you have young children present, please use your headphones. And, folks, it might not be like 3 or 4 a.m. stupid o'clock, but it is 7:09 a.m. stupid o'clock. And since I'm not really giving myself much of a break in the foreseeable future, my brain is going to probably be sludge for a good long while. So if I stumble over any of my words, stare off into space, or just start bleeping out explicitives, my apologies in advance, alright? Okay, so we're going back to where we left off yesterday. This is the findings and conclusions with respect to the genealogy and events between December the 11th and December the 19th, 1990. Folks, get your calm down tea, alright? As previously noted, Vi died of a perforated ulcer at age 19 on December the 19th, 1990 at 1:36 a.m. at Sturdy Memorial Hospital. The DMR's Division of Investigations became aware of death and allegations about some of the circumstances surrounding the death on October the 13th, 1993, during a view of a former employee, W7. Based on the information Ms. W7 provided, an investigation was initiated pursuant to 115 CMR 9. Subsequently, on March 1st, 1994, the matter was reported to the DPPC as there was reason to believe, based on the investigation, that a reportable condition existed under MGL CH19C. The findings and conclusions below examine the circumstances and the events of December 11th to 19th, 1990 in detail, as well as the circumstances and events prior to the period. The findings and conclusions are divided into 4 sections. A. Findings and conclusions concerning the chronology of relevant events and actions between December the 11th and December the 18th, 1990, the last week of Vi's life and her death. B. Findings and conclusions relative to Vi's contingent and special food programs. 2. Belt feeder. 3. Vi's overall behavioral program. C. BRI's failure to retain or provide documentation or testimony relative to this investigation. Who's surprised? Who's surprised that they didn't want to say anything about a death that they were involved in? Not me. Findings with respect to the chronology, events, and actions between December the 11th and December the 19th, 1990. Between December 11th and December the 14th, 1990, based on the evidence that was available and provided, Vi did not show any signs or symptoms of illness. So the BRI says, you have to forgive me if I take that with a grain of salt, considering their history. Sorry. Allergies, folks. They're bad in the morning. On December the 12th, 1990, Vi's maximum caloric intake was increased from 1,500 calories to 3,000 as a result of orders from two different physicians approximately 2 and 4 weeks earlier, and a 1-inch height increase actually noted over 2 months earlier. Walsh report page 6 and see below for further discussion. 3. There is some evidence that possibly beginning on December 11th, she was not eating all or part of her meals. It cannot be determined whether the possible lack of complete caloric intake from December the 11th to December the 14th was due to illness because of the caloric reading sheets do not indicate why calories were thrown out. I can tell you why. I can tell you. Their food program, you see, they make them get up and throw food away that they make them have and carry with them all day for behaviors. On December 15th and December the 16th, 1990, Vi refused her dinner based on statements of direct care staff W9 and W1. Who wants to bet that her dinner was that weird mash with liver powder? Who wants to bet? I'll put $20 on it. They report that Vi was not eating for 2 or 3 days prior to December the 18th, 1990. Again, who wants to bet it was that liver-covered food? However, the caloric recording sheets provided received all her meals for those 2 days. On December the 15th, 1990, the caloric recording sheets do not appear to be reliable for the following reasons. The sheets in use at that time only show that it was allotted to the individual, not what was eaten. On December the 12th, 1990, Vi's calories allotment had been increased from 1,500 to 3,000 calories. December 15th and December 16th were the only 2 days between December the 12th and December the 18th, 1990, that the calories remained at 1,500 and were not changed to 3,000. While the total number of calories were increased, the minimum amount to be dispensed had not been changed. For example, 20% of 1,500 was to be dispensed daily, 300 calories. Even when the total amount of calories was increased to 3,000, the minimum amount to be dispensed remained at 300 instead of 600, 20% of 3,000. Prior to December the 18th, 1990, December the 12th through 17th, 90, BRI continued to use a 1,500 caloric reading sheet, crossing out the 1,500 and inserting 3,000. However, they failed to change the minimum caloric intake. It was not until December the 18th that a proper 3,000 caloric recording sheet was used. Identified the minimum caloric intake was to be 600. So they were negligible for, not doing their jobs. Who's surprised? It is evident that beginning on December the 16th, 1990, Vi began displaying signs of illness. This is based on accounts of W8, W9, and particularly Vi, who worked with 5 days per week for almost 2 years. Vi's behavior became unusual on December the 16th in that she refused snacks on the bus and was getting out of her seat. Gee, I wonder why. She was refusing to eat or eating very little. She was acting fidgety, making unusual sounds. Of course, they're going to sit there and note, but behaviors. And because they didn't look into what maybe, I don't know, caused the behaviors. Yeah, can't have common sense. On the morning of December the 17th, 1990, Vi stated she advised a nurse that Vi was ill. W1 reported Vi wasn't eating that what she always ate, and her behavior was unusual. She was acting fidgety. W1 does not remember whom she notified. None of the nursing staff recall the notification, and the documentary evidence does not indicate they were notified. On December the 17th, on the bus ride home from school, Vi refused snacks and later she refused all her dinner. Her condition deteriorated. Her behavior was described in the following ways. The evening before she died, December the 17th, she seemed fairly sick. She looked pale and tired. During the night, she kept getting out of bed and walking to the door and going back to bed. Vi never had out of bed behavior and was very lost, looking all around her like she didn't know where she was. She also kept going into the bathroom. She had attempts to vomit. Her eyes were glassy, and Vi never slept. Had been awake all night, sticking fingers in her throat. There is no evidence that the nursing staff became involved or checked Vi prior to the morning of the 18th outside of the normal routine body checks. There was no evidence they examined her because of or for any signs of illness. Of course not. She's going to have all these behaviors that they have cameras on, but they're not going to go fucking check. They're just going to say, well, she's having behaviors. We'll punish her in the morning. God. Additionally, an examination of the nursing body check sheets show inconsistencies and irregularities to wit. The body check sheets filled out by the direct care staff show bruises to Vi's arms for the following dates: December the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and December the 17th, 1990. On the other hand, the nursing body check records did not record any bruises to the victim's arms. The existence of those bruises was in clear evidence in the autopsy photographs, as well were commented on the emergency room staff. Yeah, who's surprised? Nobody. We can't let anybody know we abuse our students, now can we? The sheets are not signed by the person making the observations, but are merely signature stamped or left totally unsigned, with the result that one does not know who filled them out or the wrong signature is placed on the document. In fact, December the 18th, 1990 body check sheet, PC3 signature stamp is on it, but it was filled out by PC1. While she was ill, according to the BRI records, Vi received an unusually high number of adversives during the overnight of December the 17th. Exactly. So instead of, figuring out why the hell she was acting so out of character, they punished her for it. Overnight, Vi was spanked 8 times, had muscle squeezes, was administered ammonia, inhalants, and taste adversives, vinegar mix, jalapeno pepper, or hot sauce, administered several times, Duarte Report 22. On the morning of the 18th, Vi continued to display unusual behavior, both at the residence and during transportation on the bus. In the morning, she had inappropriate urine and was very non-compliant. She had inappropriate motion and was touching others. I didn't give her self-care because I knew she was sick even though she didn't have a fever. She was pulling at the clothes at her stomach. She was touching her stomach like she had menstrual cramps. She was trying to tell us something. I honestly thought she had pain in her stomach. She was bringing her feet up to her stomach, her knees to her chest, holding her stomach. She looked pale, tired, and lethargic in the morning. So why the fuck are they punishing her instead of trying to figure out what the hell is wrong? This is what you get when you put in incompetent staff with improper training. Just saying. She was limp, hanging on me on the bus. She got out of her seat and put her head on my shoulder. She was holding her stomach. She had one-on-one on the bus because she was sick. She did not require one-on-one on the bus. On Tuesday morning, getting off the bus, she wouldn't move. She was looking around. Two of us tried to stand her up. She was sitting in a puddle. I told them to get someone to carry her in. Vi was in fact carried into the school on the morning of December the 18th. On the morning of December the 18th, three staff, W1, W10, and W11, who observed Vi, were of the opinion she was ill. At least two staff, W1 and W11, advised nursing staff that Vi was ill, that she was not acting herself, that she was holding her stomach as if in pain. Although there is no documentary evidence to support this notification, nursing staff agree were notified she was ill. PC1 reported that she performed a physical examination of Vi shortly after she was notified at 9 a.m. and made observations until 3 p.m. Vi was allowed to rest on a pull-out couch for the day in that classroom. Given frequent fluids and placed on low demands, no adversives were utilized between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Oh good, at least they finally stopped that shit. She continued uncharacteristically to refuse to eat. PCI stated that she checked Vi's temperature and abdomen, which she stated was normal in both cases. Really? PC1? And you're a medical expert? Why the fuck was she not taken to a doctor? For God's sake. Her whole body watched her face and looked into her ears. She also stated that she tried to look into her throat but couldn't. She also stated that Vi was not having her period and was not constipated as she had bowel movement. Not noted by the PC1 was the fact that it was an unusual time of day for Vi to have a bowel movement. Normally she has it in the middle of the night, W1. However, there is no written documentation of a physical exam, including of Vi's abdomen, at any time during the day of December the 18th. The only document that has any record of Vi's physical condition is the aforementioned nursing body check sheet, which is filled out routinely each day. The document states, in other words, highest level of incompetence, negligence, and neglect, folks. Instead of finding out what was wrong, instead of getting her to the fucking doctor as soon as these new behaviors suddenly cropped up, they punished her for them, probably exacerbating the symptoms and making it worse, and continuing on with this shit. God, how is this place still open? That document states, Vi arrived at school pale and lethargic, had been awake all night, sticking fingers in throat, temperature 98.4, unable to see beyond wax and ears, allowed to rest, given frequent fluids. 19. With the exemption of reportedly looking in the red communication book, which is not provided, there is no other evidence that as a part of the initial evaluation or as part of the ongoing assessment during the day of December the 18th, 1990, the nursing staff or the doctor inquired of the existence of the signs or symptoms over the previous 24 to 72 hours. PC1 stated in her interview that she intercepted Vi sitting in a puddle and having to be carried into the BRI from the December 18th bus ride as a behavioral problem rather than a sign of illness. PC1 reports that she contacted the physician W2 by telephone, advising him of Vi's condition. W2 corroborates PC1's statement that he received a telephone call. However, he does not remember what orders, if any, he may have given PC1. Neither remembered the time of day the phone call was made. There is an emergency room note made after Vi was taken to the hospital, which stated that the nurse, PC1, did not feel the patient was acutely ill, but was acting sick. What a... Wow. Wow. No wonder the poor thing died. Vomited one day during this investigator's interview of PC1 on April the 26th, 93. She stated she did not remember reporting this, however, she felt comfortable with the report. Staff did not report that Vi vomited. There are no progress notes by the nursing staff which would indicate how many times nursing observed Vi on December the 18th what they observed. There is no written record of communication with W2 on this matter for December the 18th, nor are there any physician orders to nursing staff. On December the 18th, responsible first shift personnel did not communicate to responsible second shift that Vi was ill. The nursing staff also did not communicate with the second shift staff and advise them of Vi's status or provide instructions about what conditions to call them or other medical personnel. The nursing staff did not check Vi after 3 p.m., even though she continued to be at the day program till 5 p.m., when she embarked on a lengthy bus ride home. The nursing staff did not at any time on December the 18th direct that Vi be taken off adversive for medical reasons, which they had the authority to do. By 5 p.m., permission was given by BRI administrative staff to allow the number of adversives to be increased to 95 for the day. Fucking sick bastards. Because of the lack of witness availability, W12, and documentation, it could not be as certain as to why the increase in adversives was requested and whether inquiry was made as to the overall circumstances. As noted below, no adversives had been given between 10 to 3:52 p.m. Between 3:52 p.m. and sometime prior to 8 p.m. on December the 18th, numerous adversives were administered by, as Dr. Duarte indicates in a report, punishment procedures were administered by between 3:52 p.m. and sometime before 8 p.m. as follows. At 3:52 p.m., she was administered an ammonia inhalant. Between 4 p.m. and 5 p.m., she was spanked with a spatula 8 times, had 8 finger pinches, and was administered ammonia inhalants again. Each hour after that, the punishing applications continued, so that by 7 p.m., Vi had received 8 spatula spankings, 27 finger pinches, 14 muscle squeezes, and several ammonia and taste adversive applications. God, you are sick bastards! At 6:45 p.m., staff noted that Vi was not herself, and in the next hour, 7 p.m., she was spanked with a spatula 5 times, was finger pinched 2 times, was administered ammonia inhalant at 7:40 p.m., and may have had other adversive applications, nature and number illegible. Thus, between 3:52 p.m. and 8 p.m., Vi had been physically punished at least 56 times. Jesus. 13 spatula spankings, 29 finger pinches, 14 muscle squeezes. She also received several ammonia applications of taste adversives and at least 5 inhalations. The number of adversives administered by between 3:52 and 7 p.m. is in contrast to no adversives during the 10 a.m. to 3:52 p.m. period, and was very likely a further indication that she was and continued to be ill. The number of adversives administered by on December the 18th, 1990, particularly between 3:52 and 8 p.m., also stands in contrast to the number of adversives she received each day during the month of December 1990, from December the 17th, 90, and recent previous months. The following figures were obtained from a monthly recording sheet. Jesus Christ. 61 adversives when she was fucking ill. Only December the 17th and December the 18th, 1990 figures are from daily logs. Figures for all other days are taken from monthly logs. It appears that the BRI's data sheets reflect 24 added data recording cycles from 10 a.m. to 9:59 a.m. the next day. Alright, we're going to go ahead and stop here, folks. I don't have much to comment on this other than their obvious negligence, their ignorance, their complete lack of medical knowledge, and their fucking nursing staff complete callous disregard of what Vi was going through is obvious. The fact that the nursing staff was just saying, well, she's just faking for attention is a problem, folks, a massive one. Had medical care done their due diligence, perhaps she would still be alive. But folks like the JRC and people who use ABA, they don't care what causes the problem. And this is how people end up dead. When someone is acting out of character, there's a reason for it. And instead of looking into the reason, they punished her while she was ill. And they continued to let the illness go on to where it was, by the time they finally got her to the hospital, it was beyond return at that point. So they are 100% responsible for what happened to Linda Cornelison. They killed her with their neglect, their callousness, their absolute fucking cruelty. And of course, we're going to go into further into this investigation tomorrow morning, but I'm going to go ahead and close out for now. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So folks, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning, and as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.